Alright, welcome back to Crabby, where we talk through and rant about crowdfunding campaigns, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be doing sort of a quick hits type of video where I'm going to cover 3 games, but they don't warrant their own videos. Hopefully I can get them done really fast, but I just want to talk about a couple of points because they each have their merits and disadvantages to backing right now or waiting to retail. Alright, so let's talk about it. So the first one we're going to talk about is Terraforming Mars, the Ares Expedition, which is the Terraforming Mars card game, as you can see. So this is brought to us by Stronghold Games, and it's doing really extremely well, obviously, because Terraforming Mars right now is a top 5 game on BGG, and everyone's excited to play this. So what is the gigantic difference between this and the original Terraforming Mars? Well, it's 2 things. First, it's a card game, so obviously you're removing that gigantic map and you're using only the oceans, and the VP chits are going to be forests. And the second major change is that they've introduced the Puerto Rico / Race for the Galaxy action selection thing. So the main action taker is going to be selecting his action, going to get a boon for that action, and everyone else is going to perform the same action but get a much crappier version of that action. So building less, paying more, so on and so on and so on. So honestly, if we talk about gameplay, I'm extremely excited to play this. In my opinion, this fixes all the issues I had with both Terraforming Mars and Race for the Galaxy, and it marries it together to make it an extremely appealing game to me. So some of the issues I had with Terraforming Mars, the easy stuff to talk about: the art and components were atrocious across the board. The game length time was insane, especially if you introduce drafting. If you don't even have drafting, the game is just broken. I had issues with the goal system, you know, the map play sometimes. There are some issues, but none of that stuff got carried over into this, and that's why I'm really excited. It boils it down to a pure tableau building, engine building game, and that looks really good. And my issues with Race for the Galaxy, obviously the stuff everyone knows, the iconography is horrible, the teaching experience is miserable, and again, it's more of a tableau building instead of just a card play. Race to the Galaxy is cool, but it's just card play, you know, discarding cards to put out a planet, and you need to have the cards in your hand. This instead is you're playing into a tableau, and I like the tableau buildingness more in this one. So, you know, you remove both issues I have, you married it together, and it looks like a really good, promising game. Now, am I gonna back it? That's the question. Personally, I don't think I will, just because you'll be able to find this in retail guaranteed, and the only thing that this project's going to give you is a daily extra card that they're unlocking. So you're probably going to get 15 to 20 extra cards. Is it worth the extra 15-20 bucks you're going to pay more than in retail for the game? I don't know. This, they're saying it's going to be 40 bucks. What are you going to get for 40 bucks? You're going to get the box, the board, a rule book. Obviously, you're going to get 4 dual layer boards, which is really nice. I'm assuming those will be the same boards that come to retail. They're not going to make 2 different kind of boards. And you're going to get about 200 cards and a bunch of tokens. So resource cubes and so on. If you calculate all this stuff together, even if you assume this is going to be a $40 MSRP in retail, you know, keep in mind that $40 MSRP is going to be less than $35 once you include like the online discounts that you get and all the extra specials that you're going to get. So you are going to get it for less, plus you'll save on the shipping. So this is a question for you guys. Do you really want to spend the extra 15 bucks for the promos and to get the game right away? I'm not going to answer that for you guys. You know, you'll probably end up spending 10 to 15 bucks for those promos anyway. If we go down, so you see here every day they're unlocking a new card. So, you know, it's up to you. Do you want the promos or not? Do you want to spend the extra 15 bucks? That's for you to say. So those are my thoughts on Terraforming Mars. I'm not going to talk about all the other pledge levels. It's just a waste of time. It's just talking about Terraforming Mars. You can get the expansions, the base game, so on and so on. Even the big box is available, but that's outside of the Ares Expedition. So, you know, good job, Stronghold Games. This looks like a step in the right direction from their previous productions. You know, it does look really good. The art, the components and all that stuff, and they're including dual layer board, which Terraforming Mars should have had since the beginning of time. So let's look at the next one. Alright, and next we're going to look at the first expansion to Paladins of the West Kingdom called City of Crowns. Alright, so this is Garfield Games. Obviously, Shem Phillips designs all their games. And let's just talk through it. Now, I'm just going to give you a very high level of all the changes because there's quite a bit going on. The major change is you're going to get a new stat, which is the diplomacy stat. It's going to sit on the side of your board, and then you have this new board extension, and these new negotiate cards are going to appear. Now, what I love about these negotiate cards is it adds another opportunity to do the same action in the same round without having to use the priest and all that stuff. So you're well aware if you've played Paladins quite a bit, once you do an action, for example, the wall action in a round, unless you do the priest action to clear off those workers, there's really no way to do the wall action again. But now with this negotiate stuff, you'll be able to perform those actions again. Plus, it'll raise your stats while you're trying to do it. Plus, you don't even have to pay to do the action. So that's a real positive aspect to the game that I really think I'm going to enjoy. All right, the other thing that it adds, if you look at the bottom part here, you know, because every card in Paladins is pretty much dual use, right? But the bottom card is pure set collection, so you're going to be collecting these cards, putting them on the right hand side of your board, and these are just pure set collection for points, and I love set collection, so that's good. All right, other things in the box, just more cards, more of these outsiders, townsfolk, just to making the deck larger, more variety, and it's adding to the whole diplomacy part. So you're going to see here the yellow worker, we're going to talk about that after, and the diplomacy stat and all that stuff, so that's great. Now, if you want to look at the main board, some of the changes on the main board is going to be an extension, so you have an extra row of outsiders and places to put your outposts, which is fantastic, because if you're playing 4 players, sometimes it does get tight. It opens it up a little bit, which is great. And then you have this little diplomacy board extension, which sits on the left. This again will add more variety and add more characters that you can draft from, so they do cost a lot more because they're showing a bit more, and also at the bottom here. But what's cool about this is where your diplomat is going to sit, the yellow worker, and you have to pay provisions to move them around, but you're going for these muster cards, which is going to give you ongoing bonuses and stat increases and stuff like that that you're going to be adding to your board. Great addition. All right, it adds to the puzzliness of the game because this is a pure solo heads down puzzle that you're playing with other players. All right, another addition, there's a lot of additions to this one. Another fantastic addition is they're introducing cooperative scenarios, and that's with these cards over here, and that looks really interesting. I never really thought about playing Paladins in a cooperative fashion. It sort of reminds me a bit of Orleans, or whatever that game's called, where, you know, there was an expansion to make it cooperative, and here you can give it a shot and play it in a cooperative fashion. So overall, looks really good. Expansion to one of my favorite games. I'm going to get it for sure. Now, am I going to back it? I don't think, just like Ares Expedition, I don't think I am, just because with the shipping costs, you're just going to end up paying more than you are at retail. So this is a question you want to ask yourself. Do you want to get the game right away? And do you want that tiny expansion? So if you do back it, you are going to get this Vassals mini expansion that you're not going to get in retail. It's 8 cards, 16 cards, and 1 reference, and so on. This is just a mini expansion that introduces wild workers. What I would suggest, they're pretty redundant considering the purple ones are already wild. It's just you don't have to take a depth card to get the yellow ones. It is what it is. Sometimes getting depth cards is good, but whatever. So here you go. So if you want to look at the price, so it's going to say it's going to be $28 with shipping. You're looking at $40. You know what? These expansions, historically, if you're looking at the other West Kingdom, Raiders of the North Sea, all the expansions coming from Renegade Games clock in at less than $30. So do you really want to back this? You're going to end up paying a bit more. If you want to support the publisher, go for it. I love Garfield Games. That's one thing you can do. All right, the other thing you can back is the collector's box. So just like Raiders of the North Sea, I believe is the only other game that they have that has a collector's box, because it's definitely not going to sit or fit in the regular Paladins box. That box is already super packed, and it takes half an hour to put the game away because it's so packed. Well, now they're going to give you a collector's box with not game trays, but a tray system in there to organize all your stuff, and you can even sleeve your cards, and this just looks fantastic. And this is the only other thing you can get on this in this campaign. And now you can get the box plus the expansion for $52, shipping, let's say $65 to $70. Again though, historically, if you look at the box that came out of retail for Raiders, it ended up costing less than $30. So even if you add both boxes together, you're still paying either the same amount or even less. So if you want to, again, support the publisher, then you can get the collector's box and the expansion. So those are my thoughts. I'm really excited to play this. The additions look really good. The value is not really there. You're going to probably be able to get in retail. The only other levels you can get are just more of the same Garfield game stuff, the base game, the other games in the series, the coins. If you don't have the coins, this is actually a great place to get the coins because they do end up costing more than this. So if you were to get this, I would definitely suggest to pick up the coins on the side. I believe they're 16 New Zealand dollars, that ends up being like 12 bucks, and in stores I think they're more than 15 bucks. So definitely get the coins if you can. And there you go, those are my suggestions. Get it if you want, just like Ares Expedition. If you want to get it early and you want to support the publisher, go ahead. But besides that, I really don't see the need in backing this. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, and lastly, we're going to talk about Zombicide Undead or Alive, another Zombicide game. Oh boy, I really didn't want to talk about this one, but let's go through it. You know, it's another year, another Zombicide game. I think it's like taxes. Every year you're going to have to pay your taxes, and every year we're going to get a Zombicide game. So this is obviously another CMON Zombicide game. I think it's like the 9th or 10th or even 11th in this series. I don't know how many times they're gonna walk to this well, but you know what? Our questions are answered, because if you're gonna make $1 million after 2 days, even I would create Zombicide games over and over again. This is like pure profit for them. All right, but anyway, let's just talk about it. I mean, for this campaign, I'm not gonna mention whether you should buy it or not because of gameplay. You're either gonna love it or you're gonna not love it. There's been so many iterations of this, you probably know if there's a game for you or not. Let's just talk about this campaign. And this is the Zombicide Old West themed version. I mean, they've had one in fantasy, they've had one in modern day, they had one in space. What is it gonna be next year? Write down in the comments below what you think it's going to be. Personally, I think it's going to be ninjas versus zombies, and that'll be a pretty cool theme, and maybe I'll even back that one. Alright, because ninjas are awesome. Alright, so this one doesn't change up the formula at all, and it's probably the one that's the closest to the base core game. There's just like 4 rules that change. You're basically playing the core game, plus your heroes are going to have a class, so a little symbol there which gives them a little power. You're introducing balconies, which is just a movement, shooting rules. So once you're on a balcony, you can shoot farther. You're going to introduce a train that just mows down the zombies as they go, but it's pretty much the same rules as the car, I believe, in the first version. And then you're going to have 2 new weapons, which is the stick of dynamite and the Gatling gun, but those are probably the exact same rules as grenades and machine guns or non-stationary guns. Anyway, so it is what it is. It's basically Zombicide. So either you love Zombicide or you don't. What I would say though is, what makes Zombicide great, if I were to give it some props here, ease of play. Get this down on the table really fast. Learning rules, you can teach somebody this game in less than 5 minutes. It's an awesome dice chucking game. Turn your brain off, just, you know, mowing down zombie after zombie. It does get incredibly tense near the end of the game because you're leveling up with the zombies, so you're getting stronger, but so are the zombies, so it never feels out of balance. So there are some great things about Zombicide, but it's not for everyone. I don't have any in my collection anymore, if you were going to ask me, but I totally understand why some people like this game, and it's really popular series. All right, so let's keep going. Let's talk about value here. $100. Like all other Zombicide games, they always start at $100. This is going to be an awesome value. This is CMON. I'm just wasting time talking about this. You're going to get 2 boxes full of plastic. Not only are you going to get the base game, you're going to get a whole other box just with stretch goals, more heroes, more monsters, even more stuff. That there's still a lot of time on this campaign. You'll probably unlock even more things. Don't compare this $100 to retail. Retail, you'll probably get this base game here for like $80, but you're not going to get all the stretch goals, and the stretch goals are what makes the value amazing. All right, speaking of stretch goals, I do have to note one thing. I'm not a huge fan of unlocking hero after hero after hero as stretch goals. That's super redundant. All these heroes are gonna act exactly the same. There's not much difference between hero 1 and hero 2. It's almost like the Marvel United problem. At a certain point, whether you have 50 heroes, 100 heroes, 200 heroes, it's all a wash. It doesn't actually make a difference. They're just gonna be plastic minis in the box that you're never gonna use, right? But it is what it is. They're still unlocking things. What I do love though is that they unlocked the abominations here, so you get 3 more. I really love this werewolf looking dude. He looks awesome. One of my favorite sculpts in this game, and that's pretty cool. And the mariachi guy looks awesome too. All right, so let's keep going. So when we talk about what else you can, what what are the levels of pledging here? So you have the base pledge, which was $100, which is an awesome deal on its own. You do have a steampunk pledge, which is $40. I will say that it's a bit on the expensive side. You're just going to get one abomination and about 10 other zombies with a couple of cards, some dice. You know, historically, CMON expansions are always a bit overpriced because they're trying to eat into the value and make some more profit off the expansions. But you know what, if you still look at it as a whole, look at it as a $140 product with everything from the base game plus the expansion, it is still a fantastic deal. Kind of unbelievable. So definitely jump in at the 140 if you're interested in this game. Now, what they did unlock today, which I didn't even see before coming here, was the Steampunk Pledge now includes a campaign that they're creating. So it's all over here and they're going to start unlocking it. So I'm covering this early. We're probably going to get more idea of what this is later on. But it's probably just a campaign that you're going through the story and stuff like that with the Steam dice and so on and so on. I'm just guessing what it is, but it is what it is. So these are the rules that I already mentioned, the differences, the classes that you're going to be with their abilities. This is just the core game pledge. Again, if you just want the core game pledge and not anything else, I don't know why you would want that. I would wait till retail, but you obviously do want to buy it here so that you get the extra stuff. All right. When talking about value, a couple of things that I do want to note. One, these plastic dashboards are incredible. This, I don't know why, these plastic dashboards, whenever I play Zombicide that have these boards, it feels like the game is just better. I just love these dashboards. It organizes everything, easy to use, fantastic addition to any Zombicide game, and I love the way that they're all thematic according to the game that they're tied to. So this one has a wood look to match the Old West, and that's awesome. Another thing to talk about for value is sort of an unfortunate thing. Over the last 3-4 years, honestly, the quality of components outside of plastic for CMON products have been going downhill, and it's probably because all these games are going to retail and they have to sort of cut costs somewhere to make more of a profit because their margins are lower. So something like Marvel United, you know, all the cardboard, the tokens, the player mats, the cards, they all kind of suck. And it's understandable. If you're selling it at Walmart, you got to tone down the quality of all your stuff. So that's something that's been happening. You can go watch The King of Average when he looked at a Bloodborne or the Invader game and all that stuff. The quality is going down. Just something to think about if you are interested in this product. All right, let's just keep going. So this is the new thing that I just talked about before, the Steampunk campaign. So this is brand new. There's not much information about this just yet. Maybe tomorrow, the day after, they're gonna start having some updates on this, and that'll be pretty cool. This is the $40 expansion, what you get in the box. And like I said, it's a bit on the expensive side. You're gonna get 10 minis plus 1 abomination for $40. A little expensive considering you're getting over 100 minis in the core game for 100. So for half the cost, you're getting 1/10 of the plastic. And you know what I do like though is that you're actually getting dice, but I don't know if you can use these dice in the game because I much prefer using plastic dice than wooden dice. Wooden dice kind of suck. If I were to buy this, I might just interchange those dice with something else, but it is what it is. And you're gonna get some map tiles, but you are getting a campaign with this as well. So that's it. And that's it. And the last thing to talk about is long dead walkers. This is something that appears in every single Zombicide game. They always add on a box of $20 with more walkers. Don't ever get this box. It's a gigantic ripoff. Don't bother. All right, and that's it. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Again, things can change. The value is still amazing today. In a week, it's probably still going to be amazing. Sorry. They're still unlocking things like the campaign, more guaranteed more expansions are coming. Right now there's only one at $40, but if you know CMON and followed any CMON product in the past, they're going to release 2, 3, even 4, and this all in is going to cost you $250 to $300 by the time it is over. All right, so you know, you already know if you like Zombicide or not. I'm probably wasting your time to even talking about this. So what I would suggest is if you already know you like it, but you have 3 or 4 different boxes of Zombicide on your shelf, why are you backing this? It's exactly the same as the base game. Unless you're a gigantic Old West fan, then I would get this, but then definitely sell one of your other products. If you are coming brand new into the series and you don't have any Zombicide, this is a great jumping point. It's an easy system to learn. You'll get a great value because if you're jumping into the system now, you can't go back and buy any of the other products because they're way too expensive. One thing that's great about Zombicide is their stuff always holds their value. I mean, if you, besides maybe the first 3 because that stuff's obsolete because the 2nd edition came out, But any of the recent ones, the last 4 or 5, you try to get on the secondary market, it's going to cost you 1.5 to 2 times the cost of the Kickstarter to get, and it's just really expensive. So if you're just jumping in, get this one and you'll be happy. Play away and you'll be good. Also, what I do with a lot of CMON products that I back, I only back the core, because at the core you're getting the best value, because like I said before, you're not going to have to pay the exorbitant expansion costs. But some of them are Kickstarter exclusive, so you might want to have them to raise the value of your game afterwards. Anyway, it is what it is. That's my thoughts on the campaign. Let me know if you're backing it. Let me know what you think next year's theme is going to be for Zombicide. That's going to be cool. And I'm probably going to buy Ares and the Paladins expansion on a regular game store afterwards, and that's it. So that's it. We'll see you in the next one later.